was a highlight sitting in the pool and listening to All Things Beautiful. That was a real highlight. Another highlight was when my friend Kati arrived. I felt such relief when she turned up. When my other friend Bella turned up, that was incredible. They were both in Melbourne at the time, so they drove to our place at like 1, 2 in the morning. Another highlight of my labour was when Ricky would kiss me. Oh my god. The best kisses I've ever received in my life. And then just touching his facial hair, there was something about that that was so unbelievably calming. I know that kissing and things like that release oxytocin, which obviously helps with pain and uncomfortableness. So yeah, that was something that was a highlight, just touching his body, I suppose. Another highlight was my daughter. So my 2.5-year-old toddler was part of our birth, and her patting me and putting water on my back and telling me it was all going to be okay. That was a really beautiful highlight too. Oh, so another highlight was when I grabbed my partner's hand and I put it in between my legs when I was on the toilet, and we could feel that there was something starting to sort of be there. And I remember him saying, "Oh my god, Maddie, you're doing this, you're doing this." And after that, that was when we waddled into the shower. So that was a highlight. And then there was, of course, the highlight of being in the shower and the end where the baby is coming out and crowning, and the relief that you get in between contractions and being able to breathe again. And the cold of the shower tiles on my face and the warmth on my back. They were all such highlights of my labour. And then being able to just feel this head there, and then suddenly within like a few seconds just this body come out. Oh, another highlight before I forget was also when my waters broke. So they broke like a few seconds before his head came out, but I actually felt it, and basically I heard this weird noise which almost sounded like a vacuum, like sucking something up. And as that happened, I felt this tingling, bubbly sensation of the waters. So I imagined like a glass of lemonade, and when you place it down, all the bubbles rise to the top. That is what I felt in my body as my waters broke. So that was an incredible highlight too. What did you do leading up to your free birth to have the mindset to surrender and trust in your body and your baby? To me, birth just makes so much sense, and I read so many incredible books that really got me in that mindset into realizing that it's not an emergency, it's just something that naturally happens and we're made to do this. I also found like looking into the research of how many things go wrong in a hospital versus outside, and purely because I'd experienced trauma inside the hospital itself with my first anyway, it just made so much sense to have it at home. And I feel like I didn't really do an awful lot to fully prepare and surrender, because I already felt 100% confident in that decision to do that. I knew that being at home was the only place I'd ever be able to have a baby. And I knew that I had to be surrounded by people that I loved and that supported me and cared for me in the way that I needed. And I knew that I would not get that in the hospital. So I feel like, yeah, I just realized that birth is a natural thing that happens. It's as natural as conceiving a baby. It's as natural as death, which is inevitable for all of us. So it just made so much sense for me to have my baby at home. And I never really had any conflicted moments where I was like, I think I should go to hospital. But I do feel like a lot of that also had to do with me going into myself more and trusting myself and trusting my baby and my body. And meditations, birth visualizations, and reading some really incredible books and resources really helped with that, as did listening to the Freebirth Society and talking to other women in forums and Facebook groups who had experienced this amazing birth at home. So I think that those things were probably the only things. Did you have any worries or concerns during your wild pregnancy or labour? So my pregnancy wasn't 100% wild. I went to the midwife 3 times purely because I wanted a blood test for my iron levels, and then I did end up getting a scan purely just of the placenta. We did not get any measurements or anything else done. And the main reason we got the scan for the placenta in the first place was because of the previous C-section, and because my partner needed that little bit of confidence to know that the placenta was in a good position. So I didn't have a wild pregnancy technically, purely because of those things. But I feel like next time I would just go wild all the way. It was kind of a waste of time. But again, the only reason I did go to see that midwife is because she is a really close family friend and I love her to pieces anyway. I would not just go and see anyone, I would only see her. There were a few moments in my pregnancy where I stressed about his position purely because of what happened with Edith. That was the only real issue that I had in terms of fears. I'd get these moments of anxiety where I felt like the baby was in, a breech position again, and that really did terrify me because I immediately thought, oh my god, I'm going to have a repeat C-section again. But then what we did was, when I'd gone to my midwife appointment number 3, I got her to see the position. Of course, he was in a fine position, head down. And so I was able to gauge how it felt. And then from then we researched into the belly mapping. So whenever I had a moment of anxiety, my partner would help me by saying, okay, well, let's lie down and work out where the baby is. And every single time they were in the right position. And I guess I also just had to trust that my baby knew what was going on and that they wanted to be born. So I would say affirmations to them, and I would talk to them about how we were going to work together with this birth, and we both want the same thing. We both want a really good experience. We both want you to be earthside and to be safe and to feel loved, and I think that those things really, really helped. How are you the most beautiful, amazing, badass mama ever? That's a really nice question. I think that because of the experience I had the first time, which was really traumatic, caused PTSD, I think that things like that unfortunately happen for a reason. So bad things happen for a reason, and you can either choose to dwell and consume yourself with those things, or you can take it as an opportunity to grow. And so I decided to take that opportunity to grow and to work on myself and to heal myself. And in that process, I became the person that I wanted to be, and I learned how to speak my truth. And I think that that is the key to being a badass mother. So I'm planning on doing a video on how I did heal from that birth trauma and that experience another time. I think that that would be really important. So maybe I'll do a Q&A on my first birth and the birth trauma. So if you have any questions, put them in the comments below and I'll try and answer them as best I can. But yeah, I think that that's kind of the main thing, and I think that everyone has that opportunity to get there in their journey, but it's just up to them and whether they choose to embrace that or choose not to. The last question was, did you have a birth playlist? And I did have a birth playlist, and I had that music on repeat for apparently 6 hours. I don't remember all of it, but my birth playlist consisted of, I was always really, really drawn to having a water birth, and I'd visualized having him in the shower, and so it was really strange that, okay, I'll go back. He was conceived when I lived near the beach. The whole way through my pregnancy, I felt so drawn to being at the beach or near waterfalls. In May, we finally got to go to the waterfalls because things are closed because of this pandemic. So we weren't able to do all those things, but the whole way through my pregnancy, I took any opportunity I could to be near the beach, be near water. I had baths every single week. I loved being in the shower. All my birth visualizations involved the shower. And then for some reason, all the songs on my, well, majority of the songs on my playlist, especially the ones that were added more at the start, all had to do with water or boats or being really powerful and strong. So everything kind of intertwined together. And then I ended up having him in the shower. It just turns out that he is also a Cancer sign, which is also a water sign. So I just had to add those in there because quite a few of the songs in my birth playlist are all like water. So I've got Weathered by Jack Garrett. I love that song. Oh, it's beautiful. Vagabond by Camp. Higher Love, James Vincent McMorrow. Donna Nobo's Park Am 2, which is an orchestral piece. If I Had a Boat by James Vincent McMorrow. Carry You by Missy Higgins. Oh my goodness, beautiful song. Change Is Gonna Come by Otis Redding. Energy Song, Xavier Rudd. Sea of Love by Cat Power. I've Got Dreams to Remember by Otis Redding. Into My Arms, Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. Laughing or Pretending to Laugh, the Smith Street Band. Satellite of Love, Lou Reed. Baby's Breath by Series. I Wanna Rock Out in My Dreams by AJJ. Three Little Birds by Bob Marley and the Wailers. Is This Love by Bob Marley and the Wailers again. Powerful, which is Major Lazer. Changes by Charles Bradley. Bring It On, Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. Follow the Sun by Xavier Rudd. Comfortably Numb by Pink Floyd. Spirit Bird by Xavier Rudd. The Night We Met, which is Lord Huron, I think it is. Skinny Love, which is like a version that Slowly Slowly did. Safety Switch by Slowly Slowly. Latch by Disclosure. Jellyfish by Slowly Slowly. Bella's Lullaby, which is in Twilight. Spiegel and Spiegel, which is a German orchestral piece as well. And then All Things Beautiful by Nick Cave. So they were my songs. Thanks so much for watching this little Q&A. If you haven't watched the first half, I'll leave that in the description below for you as well. So thank you again, and I'm hoping to be able to make little videos a little bit more often, but it is really hard with a newborn and a